This isn't a hate video. In fact, I'm still very excited for Forza Horizon 6, and I'm definitely huffing the hopium on this one. With all the craziness going on in the world right now and my country literally dragging us into another war, the least I can hope for this year is for Forza Horizon 6 to be a banger game. Oh dear God, please just let me have this. Let Forza Horizon 6 be the great game it was meant to be, and please don't let us die in a nuclear war before we can play GTA 6 later. Anyways, if you don't know, Forza Horizon 6 recently had a gameplay trailer on IGN, and reactions to this footage has been rather mixed. Personally, I still like a lot of what I'm seeing, but I do understand why some people would be angry. So let's address some misconceptions and some legitimate criticisms the community has offered towards the reveal of Forza Horizon 6 gameplay so far. First, let's clear up a confirmed misconception. The developers for some reason turned down traffic for the trailers. This has been confirmed by them. However, I think this is just a weird decision. I think the reason they did it was to allow the background environment to be seen more clearly, but it accidentally made the cities look too empty, and as some comments put it, really brought back some pandemic vibes that the majority of us are still trying to bury deep into our minds. The idea of a supposedly high population density area like Japan being completely barren just seems unsettling, especially in the middle of the day with completely clear weather. But since this was just a misconception and we don't know what the actual density is going to be like, we're just going to brush this one under the rug and focus on one of the biggest criticisms that a lot of people had for this game, which is that the roads are too wide. Yeah, this is getting a whole chapter, and I finally understand this criticism. If you've ever played any other racing game that is set in Japan, like Wangan Midnight Maximum Tune, Tokyo Extreme Racer, or even just modding Assetto Corsa, there's just something magical about flying down the Wangan at even just 200 kilometers an hour, which is about 124 miles an hour. And that's completely missing here in the trailers. Going 145 miles an hour down some of these roads in Forza Horizon 6 looks like a leisurely cruise to church, and that's crazy since I feel older Forza games really nailed the sense of speed, and that's not just accomplished with camera shaking effects or changing around the camera FOV. The best way to create a sense of speed is actually through the environment, especially through thinner roads. Grand Theft Auto 5 did a really good example of this with their local areas, which can barely even fit two cars side by side within the same lane. This feeling is insanely important to capture for a game that is set in Japan. Japan is a much smaller country than Australia or the United States, like the other previous Horizon games, and their cars, especially K cars, are a lot smaller, so when K cars are featured as a traffic cars, it becomes really apparent how wide the roads are in Forza Horizon 6 because they really don't take it up. And sure, I understand from a gameplay perspective, you do have to widen the roads a decent amount compared to real life. I'm not asking for the roads to be a one-to-one recreation. Like, I don't expect the developers, if they are watching this video by chance, you don't have to go through the entire map that you guys have made and make every road skinnier. I get that the roads near the starting areas or maybe the roads on the highway have to be wider to, again, appeal to the casual player, because when they're first getting into the game, they don't want to smash into every traffic car. But a lot of the back roads in small towns, or the mountain roads especially, they should have their width change, and it will definitely add to the intensity of those outskirt locations because they're away from dense areas. They absolutely shouldn't be as wide as they are. That's a Celine S7, by the way, a wide body, I'm pretty sure. So, and if that car is like completely chill in its lane, imagine driving, like I said, a smaller Japanese car in Japan and just never being in danger of ever running off the edge, much less hitting a traffic car. When it comes to these mountain roads, one of Japan's most famous activities, TOUGEs, which are a race through the mountain, these are very tightly packed. Like, just look at this S2K jumping mid-turn and then landing in a drift. That's a real life car. I'll link the real video, and that's the amount of technical driving that is possible in these areas that I want a Forza racing game to capture. In my opinion, that's what the Horizon series was known for. It was a great arcade racer with a low barrier of entry, but still had a decent amount of technical, challenging content. And again, like I said, I understand the developers wanting to make the introduction zone or maybe certain parts of the highway wider to help the average gaming journalist. They're such a bad driver, it's honestly up there with all the bad drivers we talked about last video, which if you've missed last video, it was a banger and you absolutely should check out my bad driver epidemic after this video if you haven't already. You should also subscribe as well if you love automotive content or random weekly rants. Anyways, on to some hopium. So this is the section of the video where I actually mention things I'm excited about. First off, the game looks great. Aside from the traffic density that the developers changed or the road width that we just ranted about, the game world itself looks amazing. They really captured a lot of Japan's iconic aesthetic and appearance with these amazing graphics. It's a shame most people won't be able to play it on Ultra on their PC because of, you know, RAM prices right now. And including myself, I probably won't even be able to fully witness this game because I'm rocking a computer that's pushing 7 years old at this point. So they are able to make great, unique assets, and I'm glad they're doing that for this game, including the cars, especially with brand new cars like the GR-GT, where you know they made that from scratch because this is the first game that car has ever debuted in. And that's stunning. Like, all these cars are stunning, and I'm glad they're not just going to reuse old JDM car models either, because this is a game set in Japan. Don't be tempted to do that, developers. We're going to find out, all right? But yeah, on to more hopium. The cities are amazing and they're super diverse. It's really cool to see every nook and cranny, even the details of the sidewalk, the brick roads, you know, the tiles on the road, and we can even drive in these tight alleyways on top of these sidewalks and just straight up through shopping plazas. I see myself getting lost in and wanting to drive in and play for several months. The bones of this game are there, and with a few updates, I'm absolutely excited for where they're going to take this. I'm going to still play it just for the visuals alone, and I think a lot of us will, because Japan was a setting that we've all been asking for over a decade, and we're starved at this point to have any AAA racing game finally not be booty cheeks. Like, I don't know about you, but expecting a massive AAA game with millions of dollars of budget to be a good game, that's the least we gamers can ask for, right? As people who rightfully earn our money and buy these games, I'm tired of this weird corporate cuckoldry that some room temperature IQ Twitter users have. Like, they do this with Pokemon too. Games cost more than ever now, so no consumer, including you guys watching, you should never feel guilty about being critical of a product if they're asking you to buy it and charging you like even $100 for like deluxe editions, right? Which circles back to why I really want Forza Horizon 6 to succeed. I'm tired of AAA gaming, especially AAA racing gaming, to go down its sorry state of existence that it's been in for this decade. Whether it's the crew servers closing down, Need for Speed developers being disbanded, and Forza Horizon 5 losing over 80 to 90% of its player base in a few months, I want Forza Horizon 6 to succeed, and I don't just want to sound like some guy who's shaking fist at clouds going, "Evil $1 million games, because the reality is games like that have access to more resources than indie developers. The whole point of AAA, by the way, is to have a higher quality than indie developer. We're just in a really era of gaming where it's flipped temporarily because AAA developers, despite having more funding and larger teams, are just fumbling over and over because we really can't even afford an A tier right now. It should be S tier, and I don't think that's too much to ask for. And thankfully this faith doesn't seem misplaced considering the final chapter and one of my biggest complaints with all of modern AAA racing games recently. When it came to classic racing games, be it modifying, upgrading, and obviously buying cars, that was 50% of the game's enjoyment alone. And if that isn't done correctly, if that isn't paced correctly, then the game isn't as enjoyable or it suffers bad retention metrics. Thankfully though, things are looking up here. So like I mentioned last chapter, the game is no longer having us be a celebrity. We're not going to carry any renown from our previous Horizon games. This time we're just kicking off the start as a tourist.
In Horizon 6, you will start off as a tourist in Japan with the dream of joining the Horizon Festival. You won't be starting off as a superstar like Horizon 4 or a racing champion like Horizon 5, and you'll need to build a name for yourself to become a Horizon legend.
And hearing Forza Horizon 6 start us off as just some dude visiting Japan, that is so refreshing. We're no longer the person in charge of creating the festival. We're now just some guy taking part in it and raking up through it. And I like that because I'm just going to mention this, and I'm sure a lot of people feel this way too. With each successive Horizon game, there absolutely was what I call festival power creep, and I'm sure you guys felt it too. What I mean is, like, we would just land in a private jet. You have like this whole celebrity entourage that's surrounding us and all these fans waiting for us at the festival, and we're beaming down the road in a hypercar while racing a fighter jet, and see all these motorcycles jumping around us. Like that is in the first 30 minutes of the game, and sorry if I like sounded like I crashed out too much, but like, and I don't want to rain on the parade for people who did enjoy it from Forza Horizon 1 to 3, because I'm not just some old man shaking fists at Cloud like back in my day, because the reality is it was cool. The first few times, like being a superstar and having that hypercar spectacle and fighter jets and ooh, that was nice for like the first 3 games. And those games thankfully still gave us decent starter cars with more gentle progression. The reason it started to get fatiguing from 2018 onwards with Horizon 4, and most of the community does agree with this, is that that game was the first one to go way overboard with wheel spins, which is the huge elephant in the room I didn't want to address until now. And don't give me the cope of, well, you could just ignore it because it's like, well, all your friends are using it. No, you can't. That's like telling a Genshin gacha addict that he can just ignore the notification symbol. They can't, all right? Why should we have to ignore a gameplay mechanic? That's not the sign of a good game. A good game makes you want to engage with all the gameplay mechanics, not intentionally ignore one that then puts you behind all of your friends, all right? The reality is, it should have been nerfed. Based on some rumors, people said that they have majorly rebalanced them. How that bodes on live release, we'll find out, right? I want to start with something humble though, is what I'm getting at. I want to get a starter car that I actually like. Every car that I get after that to feel like I earned it. I don't want to get $1 million supercars showered onto us within like a couple hours, and multiple of them, by the way. That's just crazy to me. There's nothing more insulting to my skill than a game that showers us with rewards every 3 seconds like we're toddlers watching Cocomelon, like it's gotta dangle the keys in front of us because it's scared we're gonna look away. And thankfully, the developers of Horizon 6 seem to have gotten the memo. These wristbands will have what rank you currently are that will allow you to go to only that tier of events. And as you rank up through the 7 tiers of this game, you will unlock more events slowly. So Rookie wristband, for example, I think is the one we're going to start with based on all the footage that I'm seeing. And this is amazing because it really reminds me of unlocking a new class of cars or upgrades in games like Midnight Club or Need for Speed Underground. And those are some of the most beloved classic racing games of the arcade racing genre. And hopefully these wristbands and this ranking system slows down us from getting just showered a bunch of cars in the first few hours. And more importantly, doesn't have us just open up the map and see a bunch of events that are just spammed onto our screen. So this is factually proven by neuroscience and psychology. It's called decision fatigue, and it's a real phenomenon. If you give a new player too much too soon, they're just gonna get overwhelmed and quit because they're like, well, I don't know what any of these things are. I don't know what to do with any of them. I feel like I'm falling behind now. Bye. And then even for us veteran gamers, if you give us all those events right from the get-go and just spam it on our face, we're way too optimized, like kind of like speedrunners in the sense that we're gonna bore ourselves by only doing the highest paying events, like just skipping to them right away. And we usually have the skill to beat the AI racers, even if we have lesser upgraded cars, because again, we're just better drivers. So then we end up beating the hardest events in the game super soon, buying everything super soon, and then we have nothing to work for anymore and we just also quit. So forcing everyone to go through this ranking system not only feels immersive, because again, we're just a tourist now. We're just some guy taking part of this festival. Kind of cool, because think about it. Every event we participated in every other Horizon game, we're like the event host. So everyone else that's showing up to the race is technically just some tourist who's part of our music festival. We're now flipped. We're now one of those guys. And I think that's really exciting because it's like we feel like the underdog now. And that's a feeling that's been missing from a lot of racing games lately. Generally don't think a lot of these AAA companies realize the reason we like the early Need for Speeds and early Midnight Clubs was because we were the underdog. We were just some guy we could really relate to. We're just some dude who showed up to Japan who's gonna prove our mettle, show our worth. I'm hoping this is a game where, like the original Horizon 1, 2, and even 3, where people were still playing it 2 years after release very consistently. I'm excited, alright? I'm absolutely excited, and I have a lot of hopium. That's what I'm looking forward to, and I hope we won't be disappointed when it launches in the coming months. If it does disappoint somehow, I will literally have to stake everything on GTA 6, in which case, please, nuclear war, do not happen. Anyways, that's it for this video. Check out my previous videos if you haven't, especially last week's Bad Driver Epidemic. You'll love it, and all the other Epidemic slot videos I've made as well. Like this video if you liked it, share it to your favorite Forza Doom poster, and subscribe for more Situations updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bladed Angel out.